You say that.
Yeah.
In case they're not feeling well, none of
Okay,
it.
you see it online. Where the women folks? You must be doing laundry.
All right, I'm going to call the meeting to order.
Sean Sheets.
First thing we need to do is election of officers. So I need a motion to install a president of the board.
Mr. President, I nominate Matt Jones.
Second. Moved and seconded
Train is on the track.
to have Matt Jones be the president. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 5? All right, now I need a motion to elect a vice president.
Nominate Jill.
Second.
Okay, moved in, so that, let me get this straight real quick. So it was, it was Ruda and Sean. Okay. Moved and seconded
You had one too many of those.
to elect Jill as vice president. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Next, we need to approve the agenda.
So moved.
With the adjustment.
With the, so we're adding to the consent agenda, we're gonna, the mileage reimbursement from the state has gone from 56 cents to 58.5 cents.
So that adjustment.
So that adjustment, and that's it.
And then I just want to mention that
R&R.
the approval of where the board meetings, not where, but when they take place and what time. The March and April board meetings will be the first Monday of the month instead of the second, as per normal, due to where spring break hits and Easter. So everything else is normal, but those will be the first week of those 2 months.
Okay,
It's listed in your agenda, though.
yeah. All right. So do I have a motion to approve the amended agenda?
So moved.
Curtis and Ryan Schreibel. Moved and seconded to approve the agenda. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, I need a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved. Second.
Ryan and Curtis. Moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda. All those in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? All right, on to recognitions.
Yeah, I think it's important this time of year. It happens so fast, and the way the end of the previous fiscal year hits at different times, they do a great job at any time, all year long, Robin and Mike. But it's Herculean efforts that they perform to be prepared and have everything ready to go for this particular meeting. So kudos to them. They do a fine job. So thank you, Mike, and thank you, Robin. They don't deserve applause, but no, they do a nice job. They do a very nice job.
That's it?
Yep.
All right, well, Mike, now you're on the hot seat. Financial reports.
Okay, on page 1 of the warrants, just point out Davis Electric did some work on the high school, the baseball field lights, $6,683 worth of work. And then down at the bottom of page 1, sent $12,719 of ESSER 2 money back to the state because it's federal money and we can't keep that kind of balance here, so we had to send it back to the state, but we'll get it back when we need the money. So total warrants finishing out last year is $156,667.22.
And you have two sets of warrants this time around, and so we need separate motions.
And then for the beginning of this new fiscal year, on page 5, you'll notice the work comp in the middle, First Dakota, we're paying that you guys approved, $29,314. And then on page 6, the final payment on the barn to Mammoth Sports Construction, $483,650.27. So the total warrants for this month are $569,842.03. And then page 9 is just showing that we spent down the general fund completely. We have a little bit of supplemental general fund money to help us out starting the new budget. And then page 11 is not really much activity because it's just barely started into our new budget. And page 13 showing we spent all of our general fund, all of our supplemental general fund, which are the two you want to always zero out every year. And then if you look at down on through there, like Title II, we spent all of our federal funds as well. And then, of course, we got the transfers and the reports for the high school and middle school back behind there. So if you have any questions.
Do we now have Major League Baseball lighting at the,
Hopefully for that, huh?
yeah.
All right, if there are no further questions, I'll entertain a motion to close out our financials for this last school year at $156,667.22.
So moved.
Second.
Ryan and Curtis. Moved and second to close out the financials. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, now I need a motion to approve this recent set of expenses at $569,842.03.
So moved. Second.
Ryan Schravogel and Ryan Ruda. Moved and seconded to pay the bills. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, administrative reports and the good doctor.
All righty, a couple things to tell you about. ESSER 3, we have full approval at long last. This is $1.2 million worth of the final round of grant money from ESSER, from the ESSER world. This is called ESSER 3. Originally, it was the way it was set up. We were supposed to have 3 years, everybody in the state of Kansas, not just us, we're supposed to have 3 years to expend those funds. Due to the, and let's get this in the minutes this way, dilly farting around of the KSDE, we will only have 2 years to spend this money. I'm beginning my lobbying efforts at this point already to say, let's write a waiver to the federal government to see if we can extend that to get the 3rd year. We have to have the money out the door by September 30th of 2024. If they will even allow us to encumber it, that would help us. Otherwise, we're looking to adjust to, I don't know how we'll end up expending all the money, honestly, to tell you the truth. So we need to see if they'll embrace the concept of writing a waiver to get the ability to spend the money to go 1 more year. I'll know more about that when I hear back from them. So, and that won't be a real quick conversation. That'll take a while. Second thing to talk to you about is the barn. Very, very close to being finished. We're waiting on 4 items when I wrote this earlier today. Now we're only waiting on 3. We got confirmation of the purchase of the panels, that they will be drop shipping at their expense and we'll be installing them. We need the southeast garage door lock fixed. The southwest fan louvers are stuck open, and the southeast fan not working. This is the venting fans at the way up in the top of the ceiling or the walls. July 31 is the original deadline. They're supposed to turn this over to us. I have every confidence to believe they'll meet that deadline. According to their lead person today, they're supposed to be getting it finished by the 15th. I assure you we will not send them money until it's done. So once it's done, then the check's ready to roll. But I've already talked to Mike about don't put that in the mail tomorrow until we get the final walkthrough and get those 3 things finished. Still, it's a far smoother, better event than we did with our previous construction work. So, bus routes, I don't know if you want to come forward or not, Sam, or later on if you want to, but still working to find drivers. Currently, we are able to run 5 of our 7 routes due to who we have. We have 4 drivers. I saw this in Sam's report, plus himself, he could drive. We're still scouring, trying to find. You recall, Sam has put together a approach. If we can't, we'll just start, combining routes and not running certain routes if need be. The intent is to run all 7 routes. When it comes time for your report, Sam, if you have anything else extra to add, step up to the mic. But it's not for lack of effort that we're not finding drivers. Final thing, and this is brand new this year. You're going to hear about it multiple times. In fact, tonight you'll be hearing about it, and then August again, and then in September. The new budget process in the state of Kansas we have to do it. We've had to do buildings needs assessments for years. That's nothing new, and we're used to doing that. But now, it's part of the actual budgeting process. And this is through the filter of getting, not just us, all districts in the state of Kansas, getting 100% of your student body who take the Kansas State assessments up to levels 3 and 4. That's what it's all about. And so the process is each building leadership team does a building needs assessment. Then they, after they finish it, then they send it on up to me. And then we put together a district one, okay? What occurs is, the goal is 100% of our students at levels 3 and 4. Later today, I'll be talking about the KISA report. You'll see our results on where we're sitting currently. Okay, we've got a long way to go to get to 100% of our students at levels 3 and 4. And we'll talk about that in depth if you'd like. As a part of the budgeting process itself, so when we go to do the budget hearing in September 12th, a piece of this has to be noted in the minutes. I've asked Robin to make sure anytime I bring this up, get it in the minutes. Usually we do skinny minutes, but we've got to have these fleshed out a whole bunch. 3 questions have to be answered. One is, what are the barriers keeping us from getting to 100% of our students at levels 3 and 4? Second, the budgetary adjustments the board would like to do to make that occur. And third, the timeline to achieve this goal. Now, this is just part of my report, so it's not really so much important for the minutes as it will be later on. The barriers include staffing and just the fact that we have students who are identified. You know, we will always have special ed students. We will always have migrant students. We will always have ESL students. We'll always have students in trauma. And so that contributes to meeting this goal. Budgetary adjustments, the answer is going to be tied to people, which we've been doing anyway. I mean, and I don't like package plans, if you will, but we'll look at all that kind of stuff. The timeline for this, honestly, don't put this in the minutes yet. Honestly, the answer is infinity plus 1, or we might as well just say 2 weeks from now. It's just as valid. I think the official answer I'll come across with when we have to do this as part of the budget hearing will be anywhere from 8 to 13 years. That's at least a generation of school. I still don't know if it's feasible given the barriers that exist, and there's nothing we can do about those barriers. When we take into account also a year from now or 2 years from now, the open border plan that comes into play, it creates a whole nother factor in all of this work. But regardless, this has to be done, and then also all the stuff has to be published on the website. So we'll just be sharing it with you left and right and in between. So any questions about any of my items for my report?
So what's the hook if you don't attain?
I'm sorry?
So what's the hook? What's
That's
the
it.
caveat there if they came forward and said, if you don't meet your,
Today, nothing.
right,
I believe they're building the perfect mousetrap.
yeah.
You know, because the people, in my opinion, who are anti-public education have been trying to prove a point for many, many years, and finally they've honed in on this particular metric, and by gum, you've got all this money, you should be able to do it. I disagree with the metric itself, but until we can change that, we play by the rules.
Not additional monies that are going forward in order to meet the building needs assessment.
No.
But money will be taken away.
Very good. Good point. As a matter of fact, we have $1 billion over, or more than that, in the state of Kansas right now, yet the legislature still chose not to fully fund special ed. Still chose not to do that. It could have been done. Now, also, I'm not going to equate just dollars with success, but at least, because we also have to hire the people, right? At least it would have helped. But yeah, you know, Ryan, right now they've not put any teeth in the dog, but we'll see as we go. And it'll be fascinating to see how 287 districts across the state of Kansas respond to this come September 12th, when most everybody will be setting their budgets. So.
Well, if history sets any precedents there, they won't be reinventing the wheel.
No.
Money taken away.
Yeah. We'll play double secret or triple probation along with everyone else in the state of Kansas. So that's my report.
Okay. All right. Buildings, Tom. Good. Just need more rain. All right. Grounds. This is what? You need more rain? Uh-huh.
We'll get that in the minutes. More rain.
More rain. Right now. All right, Sam.
Really, there's nothing to add. I got a couple of Hail Marys out there.
Is that on?
I don't, yeah, lights on. But I haven't got any new information. Just, if you guys got any ideas, give me a shout.
You're talking names.
Yeah.
Anybody who we could.
Names
We'll
or-
pick up the phone and call people. Corey, you want to be a driver? We'll teach you. There, you showed up at the wrong meeting, buddy.
Yep, you're a bus driver now. Thanks, Sam. All right, Monica, food services. Nothing further. Okay,
I do want to highlight, I mean, once again, like all our people, Monica works very hard on providing the services that we need for our people. We are having difficulty finding cooks, obviously. Thus, the very nice raise that was given to the food service world, 15.5% is nothing to sneeze at, yet we're still short. So we're looking at, well, what can we do? And so we're looking, I will probably be reassigning people to take care of certain aspects of the food service world. That's the last ditch effort. But in the meantime, Monica has researched and found out Papa John's in Garden City, we can actually contract with them for pizza to be served a couple times a month or more if we want to, and it meets the criteria of the KSDE. It also would come in within our scope of our reimbursement. I mean, so it's this kind of thinking, it's out of the box thinking that Monica's involved in at this point, and I'm proud of her and appreciate the efforts. One of the ideas that we could do, but it's not a quick fix, and I don't even know if it fixes anything at all, is if you'll recall a couple years back, we were thinking about outsourcing food service to OPA. Districts in the area have done this. The foible, the interesting part of that is you still have to have people to work. And so even though we might sell it off to this third-party group to come in and take care of our food service, it's still the same pool of applicants who may or may not come forward. So we'll put the clarion cry out there, not only for bus drivers, but for cooks. And if you honestly and truly hit the trifecta, somebody wants to bus drive and then work during the day and then bus drive, bring it on. That'd be great. We'd love to do that. A couple of years back, we put into play the incentive clause to bring forward recruitment of bus drivers. I'll be working that up to do that for everybody in the classified staff. And so we'll write that up and hopefully get it approved by the board. I don't know that it'll make a difference, but we'll sure try. I know it brought us a few bus drivers, maybe not for route drivers, but people who are willing to do activities. So there you go.
all right. Okay, Mr. Ackerman.
Nothing further right now.
Okay. And for some reason, the rec and High Plains and the service center have
They're just in there
made it back in.
for this month.
Yep. All right. Let's move to unfinished business and KISA Year 1 report.
Okay, this, as you well know, a year ago, we finished our first cycle of KISA and came through the gauntlet fully accredited, all's well. And so given my experiences with the KSDE, they talked about possibility of doing a pilot program to see about what we might do a little bit differently within KISA. So we jumped into the fray, and we took part in Year 1 pilot of what it might look like moving forward. And so it's appropriate now for me to give you the year-end discussion about that, and what you have before you are KISA Year 1 pilot talking points. Keep in mind the whole purpose of KISA and accreditation is all about school improvement, which a person could define that as meeting the needs of our clientele. Then the way the state of Kansas does it, specifically through the state board outcomes. That's what they really are interested in, seeing the needle move. And then also academic growth. The 5 state board outcomes include kindergarten readiness, so locally measured social and emotional data points, individual plans of study, graduation rate, and post-secondary success. So that's the ball game, plus academic growth. So it is a good process. We brought together the leadership team and leadership teachers from the different buildings, and this took place, I think we had 5 meetings throughout the year down in Southwest Plains. Cimarron and Dodge City were involved in this sector of the state. There were 6 of these that were taking, 7 of these pilot groups taking place across the state. And ostensibly, the KSD is going to look at all this information, all this feedback we give them over the last year and the next 4 years, and come up with this approach of accreditation for us. So things we looked at, our demographics, who are we, what kind of discipline situation do we have, what's our attendance like, various academic measures, And this is the concern I have is state assessments. We already talked about that briefly a second ago. I'll share data with you here in a moment. ACT scores, and then FastBridge, which is our progress monitoring system that we use to track growth from August to May. And in my mind's eye, that's more indicative of learning than the ACT, or I'm sorry, ACT or the state assessments for that matter. Then our social emotional data, which comes from the Kansas Communities That Care survey, staff perception data, a thing called the Positive Behavior Intervention System that we use, PBIS, which the idea is, let's, instead of just coming in and yelling at somebody for doing something incorrect or a miscreant, the idea is we refocus and we praise, hey, look at all the good things going on. And the idea behind that, if you follow the research, is the individual kids are more interested in that versus being punished. It's just an approach. SABRS is a self-diagnosis from the kids on how they feel about different things. Do they feel bullied? How happy do they feel to be at school that day? Then a variety of other data points like the positions we added with the ESSER money to address learning loss. Another data point is our sub shortage. It's not uncommon for our teachers to have to cover in class, and we're not alone in this. We did not invent this. And then just in general teacher retention. I have no, in fact, I kind of like 10% change out per year, and that's about what we have. But anymore, as it gets more and more complex, maybe if we can just keep the people a little bit longer. Thus, some of the efforts the board has done over the last several years. Some essential data we looked at: chronic absenteeism. 19% of our students have missed 10 days or more. If you start doing the math on that, that's a lot of school. Attendance is actually pretty good as a whole. 95%. We have 95% attendance. That's a good thing. Our dropout rate, real good, less than 1%. Graduation rate, on the other hand, is 84%. So you say, well, how can those be on the same piece of paper? Because the way the state of Kansas chooses to do graduation rate is, if a kid shows up here and then they move away, but then let's say move out of state or they move to another community but never enroll, that goes back against our graduation rate. It's called the cohort rate. It's, in my opinion, misguided, but that is what it is. And so we have 80. So it's not when the kids stay with us, they graduate. But when they move away, we don't know what happens to them. And there's no way to find out what happens to them. Post-secondary success rate is 58%. That's basically the kids who go on beyond school to actually go back, show up again for their sophomore year, and or earn some credential, industry sponsored credential. We do well there. The state assessment data, I want to ask you to move to look at the third page that you have before you. And this is the stuff that I was referencing earlier about our budget's got to be tied to this. So what you have before you are the grades who take the math and English tests every year. And that's the ballgame. Yes, we take science and we take social studies, and they pop back and forth, but it's math and reading. And as you can see the results, I call these lagging indicators. For instance, 71% of our students in 2021 in third grade scored in levels 1 and 2 of the state assessments. That means the inverse of that is we had 29% score in levels 3 and 4. Remember our goal? 100%. So there's some growth to be had there. And that's just one I'm having to point out to you. It's pretty good compared to some of these others on here. If you take a look at this, we've got our work laid out before us. This data is what fuels, our efforts that I was talking to you about with the building needs assessment as it relates to the budget. This is it. And we use 2021 because the state hasn't scrubbed the data yet from last year. So this is being foisted upon us. This is the data set we have. Okay? And there's a whole slew of reasons that come into play as why our results are what they are. So back to the KESO Year 1 talking points. Strengths that we discovered. We have several strengths. Our attendance rate, our dropout rate, post-secondary success rate, our KELPA scores, that has to do with students who are non-English speakers, how quickly we are able. The purpose of ESL, one of the purposes, is to get the students out of ESL. Well, you measure that through the KELPA tests. And you have 100 or 100 of 105 who are proficient or nearly proficient. So that's good results. Very few instances of major discipline for a school our size. PBIS is good. The elementary MTSS, which is a personalized approach to helping with kids' learning needs, is going well. It's doing well. Adding in the learning loss positions through ESSER, and then we've been working hard on trauma work for 4 years now. Our growth areas, so you say, well, what are we going to do to help impact all this? We need to try to figure out the chronic absenteeism and get the students to school, the ones who are 19% who are chronically absent. Our state assessment results are not where they need to be or where we want them to be. ACT results as well. Our graduation rate, due to that fact I already explained to you how it's figured, so we'll do our best to help those kids who move to Hugoton and choose not to go to school. I don't know how to make them go to school, but it follows us if they don't clock in or enroll. Personnel is an issue. I think we're only as good as our people always, and we do have a sub shortage, and we look to retain our people a little bit better. And then another one, a major thing we need to get better at the K-12 level, we've been doing it 6-12, but now K-12, the individual plans of study. And on the individual plans of study, when we look over on the next page, it breaks that out. What's that really mean, okay? Something important for you to know, we started the year, and where the state of Kansas is kind of trying to push people is have their goals all wrapped around the Kansas State assessments with math and English. I just am diametrically opposed to that because it's one moment in time test. It does not show growth. It's not a growth factor, because you don't even test the same kids on the same stuff. It's, and so then you compare this third grade group with next year's third grade group. It's a different cohort group. And so how's that show growth? At least, but we started that way, and then I had the epiphany and said, wait a second, I don't want to buy the noose for the guillotine or the noose for the hangman's stand. So we adjusted our goal to using FastBridge. And the FastBridge, like I said, we test 3 times a year, K-12. And so what we're looking for is we want to get 80% of our kids into the area of typical or aggressive growth in both math and in ELA. And so the third one we added in is SEL goal, and that's this social-emotional learning goal. And basically, if you recall, we adopted a curriculum last year, social-emotional curriculum, and we've got 4 counselors. We've got the trauma handbook, and so the idea is over the next cycle, this 100% of the grades will be following the program, which should help the kids be more centered at school, which should help their scores. So then you say, okay, here's the issue. We got all those problems. How are we going to meet it, Scott? Look on page 2. So here are the strategies, not fleshed out, but the grand, big rocks, if you will, of how we're going to meet the goals of, for us, 80% of our students at typical or aggressive. We're going to work hard to ensure fidelity of whatever approach we're doing. That's administrative and just making sure. Like last year, one of the things that I asked every teacher to do is to post their learning objectives every day. So it makes sense that the kids know at least, well, what are we working on today? Well, we want that done with fidelity. We want 100% of our teachers to do that every day. That's just one little example. We are moving into 6-12 MTSS. That started this summer, in June. So now we'll be 5-12, K-12. And earlier I was talking about the elementary MTSS approach is good, solid. So now we're going to grow that. And what that does is it pinpoints, we have tiers 1, 2, and 3. Every kid starts the year at level 1, and as we identify issues academically, they go up to the next level. And if we still don't find the right issues to help them come back down, they go to the next level. If they get to level 3 and we're still not being successful with our efforts, that triggers a screening for special ed. Because now at that point, we've said, we've tried all these different strategies. This is a year-long process. It's not like going out and picking cherries. This takes a while. Then it triggers the idea of a staffing. What else do we need to do to meet this kid's needs? What is it? So it's a deep dive into the data. Vertical alignment work just basically makes sense. If we start, let's say, with writing, we're teaching writing, that it continues to grow. We don't continually reteach the exact same thing every year and not really grow it. And across the board in all the different curriculum areas. I mentioned the IPOS a little while ago. If you break it down, or what makes it a richer program, it's not just about career interests. It is about career interests, but it's not just that. It's also about their academic progress, their learning styles, and what intrinsically motivates them. If we can figure out intrinsic motivation, that's one of the absolute keys to education. Another thing to help meet our goals is stability in staff. We have purchased and we're launching a data dashboard this next year. So this will put at the fingertips of our principals and our teachers and everybody the data on Johnny. And so he or she, that teacher, can look at that and say, okay, according to these data points, here's what we project, but here's what we're getting. Why? Let's look at that. So we go back in and diagnose it on a very personalized level. And then a really big deal, we just adopted new English curriculum for elementary school based on the science of reading, not just it kind of feels good. It's based on scientific fact of how to learn how to read. And so that's a new approach in the state of Kansas. So the final takeaways. Our supports are in place. We know what we need to do. But our lagging indicators have not caught up yet. And the lagging indicators are the different testing data I've shared with you. We will, and like I said, another final takeaway, the implementation of K-12 MTSS this coming year, as far as professional learning and then actually launching it, that should further our efforts to meet the needs of each kid, because now it's not just the student didn't pass that test. It's going to be didn't pass that test, and here's why we think it is, because we know more about that individual kid. So it's a daunting task before us, but this is an honest appraisal of what we've been doing. I'm an optimist. Actually, I guess a pessimistic optimist or an optimistic pessimist. I don't know. This is a sheer cliff to climb, but I have faith in our people. And I know that we will double down our efforts and not just beat our head against the wall. We'll look for the right approach. And to me, the right approach is personalizing the educational experience to the kids as much as possible. At the same time, being mindful of not weighing down the teachers, because it's already a daunting position that they have and a daunting task. And by the way, the SIC, that's the School Improvement Council, made up of teachers. They're not in leagues, not the right phrase, but they've been with me and with us as we've gone through this entire thing. So it's not being foisted upon anybody. They are a piece of the work. So there you go, Mr. Jones. That's my KESA Year 1 report.
Any questions for Dr. Myers? It's a wrap. Yeah. All right, let's move to the MOU with the City of Holcomb.
And Chief Police Corey Williams is here. You're welcome to step up if you want to. But you don't have to give a speech if you don't want to. We have written into the ESSER 3 grant the funding for an SRO, School Resource Officer. It's been approved. As we are working through this more and more and more, this is an actual official law enforcement officer. So the person will remain an employee of the City of Holcomb and or the Police Department of Holcomb, whatever. And so what it's written into is we will be providing to the City of Holcomb $50,000 a year for these 2 years, minimally, to help fund that position. For 9 months of the year, the individual will be in our buildings and our activities, getting to know the kids, but also helping out with creating relationships, but also with if things occur. And this finally got approved by the State Department when I came across the right approach to say to them, learning loss, because we have noticed, particularly at the middle and high school, more miscreant behavior around vaping and other chemical issues. And so that has taken up more and more time of our principals. Well, every minute, back when I used to be a high school principal, a fight I could clear in an hour. A theft took half a day. And if I'm spending the time doing that, I'm not doing this. So hopefully with the SRO, this will free up our principals' time to get back in working with the teachers and the students to meet their academic needs, and not so much the kids who are choosing to do things they shouldn't be doing, particularly at school. So anyway, 9 months with us, 3 months in the summer working with Holcomb Police. Follow our calendar. So Christmas break, they're off with us. Spring break, all those good things. But once again, it is a Holcomb employee. In order to make this a reality, I'm asking for the board to accept the MOU that between Corey and myself, and then our lawyers, I'm sure his lawyers, put this puppy together. And all sides have said, hey, it's what we need to have in place. So
will this be one particular officer will be assigned all the time, or just someone will be there each day, or?
to my understanding, we have a person. Corey knows of the person, but we will have continuity of service. But go ahead, Corey.
Yeah, we'll just have one officer assigned to the school to build that relationship. It's better than switching over and over, unless for some reason they leave. You know how it is trying to find employees.
Yeah.
But I do have somebody that's got 7 years of law enforcement experience that will be starting July 21st, so.
And then as far as we're concerned, we launch on the convocation date is the 15th. And I've asked Corey to invite the individual, I don't want to give a name but until you make a hire, but to attend that, introduce the individual to everybody, make the person give a speech, whatever.
Or you, we could have Corey.
Yeah, I'll have Corey do it too.
Yeah.
Follow up your speech.
Yeah,
Follow
right
up your
behind me.
You have to keep yours to 45 minutes this year.
Yeah. Okay,
I'll
I'll try.
try. So then we're on duty. We're fully going. And I think I talked to you, I'm going to mix my peas and carrots here. As a piece of that day, we're also having Lieutenant Martinez and his crew come back and give us a refresher course on the run, hide, and fight. And so I think it's important for the new SRO and Corey or whomever to be a part of that as well. So we're all on the same page. Unfortunate need. But anyway, my recommendation is for the board to enter into the MOU as specified for this SRO.
If we come to the 50,000, is that like,
Where'd it come from?
that percentage is 9 out of 12 months? Is that the,
How it came up is I was informed that the average SRO price, salary in the state of Kansas is $41,000 and then $9,000 worth of benefits. And that's how that came up. That's what, and this is that pile of money, which I said, I don't think we can spend. So if we want to, no, I'm only joking about that. But
We can surely
the money is there. And like I said, that it was based, yeah, for 2 years, unless we can get the extension to a third year. So,
I'll make the recommendation that the board approves the MOU with the city of Holcomb for SRO.
Second.
Okay, Ryan and Curtis. Moved and seconded to approve the memorandum of understanding with the city of Holcomb. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? All right.
Just a side
thank you,
note,
Corey.
I wanted to thank you there for the work you did on the 4th of July celebration. That was great, something we haven't seen in this community, and I appreciate your work on that.
Yeah, no, we enjoyed it, and thanks. Hopefully, not too many people used your driveway to turn around.
We're gonna start
but
charging next year when we do it, but, yeah,
That's what I was thinking. You could make some money.
yeah, no, it was a great event.
Yep, we enjoyed it. Hopefully, bigger and better next year. So,
Come back to Sherlock Township for fireworks.
yeah, definitely.
Come for more next year. We got a lot of money in there. So,
All right. Well, thank you guys.
Thanks, Corey.
Look forward to working with y'all.
all right.
We'll talk.
All right. Let's move to handbooks.
We have two final handbooks to bring forward for your approval. One is the virtual school handbook. As you recall, we're planning on launching a virtual school this year. Jerry and Amy Wickwer have headed that up, kept me deeply involved on it. And the handbook that they put together, that when we're working with the KSDE was kind of like, okay, that's fine, yeah, but what about this? I said, well, that's on page 2. Well, what about this? Well, it's on page 4. Well, what about this? They came away with, it was like, oh, well, you're ready to go. Nice job. So they did a bang-up job on it. The virtual school is a standalone school, 9/12, way we're starting it. But it's written in there that if there are issues, then the students can come back. There's a process by which we bring them back into the brick and mortar. Just so you're aware, the budget-wise, they're funded differently than our normal, regular brick and mortar kids. Jerry anticipates anywhere from 10 to 15 students entering into this. That more than pays the price of salary and our curriculum for us. And in years past, those 10 to 15 students would just leave us. They'd go next door or to some other virtual school. So I think it's a viable learning opportunity for individual kids, not all. And fiscally, it's a good move on our part to have this opportunity in place. Ultimately, I would love to see it grow beyond just 9 through 12, but that's down the road. The other handbook is the evaluation handbook, and it just details our processes of evaluating the teachers. And the only adjustments to that this year, just we have to update the dates every year. So I recommend that the board approve of the two handbooks as presented.
I have one quick question on the virtual school.
Sure.
How does physical education and some of the electives work?
They actually keep logs, so they'll have to go out and exercise, run a mile or whatever, And then the good thing about, and we're moving to a standards-based curriculum type thing. Let's say we don't have carpentry. Let's say it's carpentry. Well, you got to build it. You can't be on site because you're doing your work somewhere else. So let's say students in welding, they'd have to find a welding bay and go and be able to do TIG welding or whatever is in the criteria. So it's been, addressed as far as, and then they bring it back and not the professor, the teacher says, yep, that works. So that's how it's done.
I'll make the motion to accept the handbooks as presented.
Curtis,
Second.
Ryan Schreiber. Moved and seconded to approve the handbooks as presented. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, substitute pay.
It's at this meeting every summer where we set the rate of pay for substitute teachers. I'm recommending, you have a chart here that shows this last year, how we compared to all area districts. And I'm recommending that you add $5 to each area. So moving into the new school year, emergency rate would be 140, certified rate 150, and long-term rate at 155. These are all per day for teachers, just teachers is what this is. And we just don't know what the ones are for the other districts at this point because they're doing the exact same thing tonight. So,
I'll move we up the substitute teacher pay.
Okay, Ryan.
Second.
Ryan Ruda. Moved and seconded to up our substitute pay $5 per
category.
category. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, school fees.
This is also the meeting at which we set our school fees. This runs the gamut from educational materials fees to school lunches to admission to games and all that whatnot. The only adjustments that I'm bringing forward to you are for the a la carte or extra meal type foods that a person might ask for, extra milk or something like that. And then also the adult meal prices have gone up by a quarter. We want to, as much as we can, given the struggles in the society and whatnot, if we can help out as much as we can, we're trying to. So there are no other recommended increases for any of the other fees. So as they've been set in the past, that's how they're set. That's what I'm proposing this year. So I recommend a motion to approve the school fees as presented.
So moved.
Ryan Ruda
Second.
and Ryan Schreibogel. Moved and seconded to approve the school fees as presented for the 2022-2023 school year. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? All right, new business and Chromebook purchases.
If Mr. Ackerman would step to the stage, we'd appreciate it. This is an annual thing that happens in this meeting each year where we update the rotation of the purchases of our devices that we provide to our students because so much schooling is gone online now. And so this year it's the middle school's turn. And so Randy went out and did a bid process for 275 new Chromebooks. As you've got the information before you in the horizontal chart that shows the 3 different vendors with whom he is engaged and shows a low bid on one of them. I'm asking for to approve and give us the authority to go ahead and go up to $140,000 because the prices you see here includes, the devices plus some licensing. But we do need to get cases and whatnot to go along with it, and it's kind of a separate purchase. But I don't want to have to come back to you. So, Randy, anything to add to it?
Nothing really further. With all the grants and everything we've had in the last 2 years with COVID, this is the last really location anywhere in the district that we need to replace the devices. Just kind of a long-term heads up, we used to do it on an annual basis rotationally. Because of the grants, we really have increased and improved the status of all of these, but it's also going to come back later on, way down the road. But for right now, this would really put the district in a good shape of having newer devices in every single building. And we'll be putting devices in here that are similar to what we have at the elementary schools.
There's no eligibility through ESSER for technology?
No.
Really?
Not right now. I mean, we could resubmit, and that's we need to look at it and kick over every rock down the road. And I've learned with getting the SRO, I got to tell the story in a way that it gets through their gauntlet.
Loss of learning.
Well, there you go. And there's number 6, anything to help the principal. And so that, something for us to look at, as far as the next round goes. But, we're actually pretty good for a little while on this. But like I said, I'm asking you to go higher than what the minimum bid is because we have other associated expenses. So I recommend you approve investing up to $140,000 to complete the purchase, following through with the low bid from IT Savvy.
What do we do with the old ones?
Most of the ones that we have are old, or what they consider end of life, and so they're recycled. We really wouldn't feel comfortable even selling them off to another user because they no longer get updates that provide the protection for the devices. Otherwise, if we have any devices that have not reached end of life, we use them in the district for time clock systems. We use it for checking, check out on time clocks.
I'll make that motion to go up to 140,000 for the new Chromebooks.
Ryan Schravogel,
Second.
Curtis. Moved and seconded to make the purchase of the Chromebooks as presented up to $140,000. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you. Resolution to exceed the revenue neutral rate.
Okay, in the 11th hour, we received some clarification on this. A year ago, the revenue neutral rate came into being, okay? Didn't exist prior to last year. And what it is, it's math done by the county clerk that says, in order to keep the revenue neutral, not going up at all, here's the rate you'd need to publish in your budget. However, if for some odd reason you need to do so, you need to pass this resolution to exceed the RNR. Okay, that's what this is all about. Okay. Originally, we thought, well, we'll take care of that tonight, and then we move on down the road. A couple months from now, we actually have the hearing, and all is well and fine. Can fan out once again in the 11th hour. If we make the resolution tonight, we'll still need to do it again in September. So I think that's superfluous. There's no reason to do it twice. But I do believe it would be a good idea to adjust the motion to direct the superintendent to submit the intent to exceed the RNR to the county clerk to meet the deadline, and that's July 20th by statute, okay? I'll come back around to that motion in a moment. I do want to talk some of the details of this so you understand where this is headed as we get closer to September. On September 12th, we will have the hearing for the RNR. I will be making the recommendation at that point for you to address the resolution. New this year, it's a roll call vote. So it'll say Curtis Peterson votes yay, or Curtis Peterson votes nay, across the board, for everybody on the board. What's happening, just the way, if you do the math, we're lucky, we're fortunate. Our assessed valuation is going up by $14 million. Last year it went down by $200,000. By virtue of that going up, we will be in the place where we need to pass this resolution. The way this reads is, if your overall millage exceeds what the RNR is, and I'll mention what that is in just a moment, or your general fund goes over what last year's was, or what the RNR would be rather, LOB, capital outlay, or bonded interest. Any of those things, any one of those, or the culminating one, goes beyond the RNR, it's necessary to do this if you want to get the money. If you don't want to get the money, you don't have to do it. I would recommend you do it. Last year's millage rate, as you have it listed here, is 48.747. With the computed RNR from the county clerk, tied to the fact our assessed valuation is going up, the RNR is 46.991. So if we're going to exceed 46.991, we need to pass this resolution ultimately. All right, so if we go through all this different stuff, the work Mike's been doing and whatnot, our actual mills this year are going to go down. Last year is 48.747. We project it to be 47.257, down 1.49 mils. That's nice. Anytime you keep it flat or go down, I'm in favor of that. Yet it's still higher than the RNR. Okay, so thus causing this issue. How this occurred, once again, is assessed valuation is going up by $14 million. Even if that weren't happening, the general fund by statute is 20 mils. The RNR for the general fund is 17.792. So no matter what we do, we're going to be exceeding that R&R for the general fund. If this board chooses not to do this, our revenue will just drop by corresponding, we'd have to do all the math. Capital outlay, this allows us freedom to go to 8 mills. This is really good news because we'll go from $714,000 in revenue last year to $932 this coming year. That's a good thing, considering we just paid out the barn, and yet our mills are still going down overall. Now, I realize an individual house, that means their taxes are still going up a little bit because their assessed valuation has probably gone up. But, so what I'm asking for tonight, instead of the resolution to pass the RNR, or to exceed the RNR, what I'm asking for is a motion to have the superintendent submit to the county clerk the intent to exceed the RNR. Then, in September, we'll come back and have the actual hearing with the resolution.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Okay, Curtis and Sean. It's been moved and seconded to direct Dr. Myers to submit the intent to exceed the R&R to the county clerk. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. All right, next we have to set the date.
There you go.
R&R hearing.
And it's normal, 1 year's worth of normal, to do it the night of the September board meeting. So I recommend you set the budget, the hearing for the R&R on September 12th, 2022 at 7 o'clock.
So moved. Second.
Okay, Sean and Curtis. Moved and seconded to set the R&R hearing for September 12th at 7 o'clock. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, now let's set the date for the budget hearing.
And it can happen directly right after it, and so that will be at 7:05 on September 12th. But during that particular one, will be a much more thorough presentation tied back to those 3 questions. Actually, I'll present all that to you in August, and then again in September. So, but anyway, for tonight, just need to set the budget hearing date for Monday, September 12th at 7:05.
So moved.
Second.
Ryan, Ruda, and Curtis. It's been moved and seconded to set our budget hearing for September 12th at 7:05. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, student accident insurance.
This is the time of the year where we set that up for our, for emergencies or accidents, insurance for our students, student accident insurance, hard to say. The little option we received this year is from our same group we've had year after year after year, $10,982. It's an increase of $13.63. If you'll look at the usage throughout the years, it pops up and down, but I do know that people appreciate the fact that we have this in place. I would recommend that we keep it going.
Moved. Sean
Second.
and Ryan Ruda. Moved and seconded to accept the low bid for student accident insurance for $10,982.63. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, board member committees.
Okay, it's at this meeting where different committees are set, and this could be one motion at the end, Matt. It doesn't have to be by committee. Generally, it's a bad idea to miss this meeting because that means individual names get put on every committee.
Jill has requested to replace me on each of the committees.
And me as well.
Casey says the same thing. Myself.
I'll let your conscience be your guide as you guys fill this puppy out.
I have no conscience.
So, this year's calendar committee was Ryan Schreivogel and Matt Jones. Anybody want to volunteer? I'll let you run this, Matt.
Good, Ryan?
I'm good with the calendar. I don't think I did anything last year.
Capital improvement is,
Matthew,
yes.
can I just make a motion, we keep it all the same?
Yes.
Does anybody have a problem with that?
I did not attend very many High Plains education meetings. I tried, but I
Can you,
was- I
do you
failed.
not Zoom those?
Yes. Yeah.
What the heck?
Didn't make those either. Because you're missing out on the food, or?
I gave up about November.
Well, Ruda and I can't sit on there because our wives work for them.
Correct.
And what,
I think
Curtis
my wife
used
is
to be.
applying for a job there, so
Oh, nice try, buddy.
I'll try to make more this year.
Okay.
That's a good motion. I like it.
Everybody good
I've
with
done
that?
it 2 years. I drove down there with
Yeah.
years.
And Curtis has a hard time getting there, so, yeah, he drove. He got the free meal. Don't you get like a virtual meal? Just show you a picture of it. So I have a motion on the floor from Sean to keep all of the board committee assignments the same.
Second.
Okay, right, Sean and Ryan
Train
Rita.
is on the track.
Moved and seconded to approve the board member committees as presented. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And thank you, Sean. All right, let's move to athletic trainer services.
It's the time of year to renew our athletic trainer services contract with Excelicare. It's the exact same deal as we've had for several years. $1,000 cheaply bought. Comes out every Tuesday, attends our games. Also, though, value added a year ago, or 2 years ago, does our concussion baseline testing, which is mandated, and also allows opportunities for shadowing into the CTE programs. So I recommend the board review or accept the athletic trainer services for $1,000 from Excelicare.
So moved.
Second.
Ryan, Shrivogel, and Curtis. Moved and seconded to approve the bid for athletic training services with Excelicare for $1,000. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, KASB policy recommendation.
Okay, we've got like 89 pages to start reading. No, I'm not going to do that. On the first read, twice a year, KASB comes out with policy recommendations and adjustments. The vast majority of them before you, and tonight, the only motion is to approve the first read. That's it. What makes this a reality is next month when you say, I want to make this a reality or make it real. The vast majority of these, just streamline language, take out a comma, literally, that kind of move. But I will mention there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of these that are more substantive. You're welcome to get into these, but tonight, I think it's appropriate just to give you the overview. DB, budget planning, makes it a reality that we follow the law about the building needs assessment and the budgeting process. You really don't have a choice not to do that, but it's important to put that into print to codify it. DC annual operational budget, same thing. It's the same ballpark. GBRJ, substitute teachers, provides more freedoms for who may substitute teach in our district. IDA privacy, we need to give advance notice and access to surveys of students. Make them available. It's an opt-in now anymore with surveys. IF textbook challenges specifies who may file a complaint and clarifies the process of that. And then performance-based, or IIA, performance-based, provides freedoms to award credits for like work-based experiences or, through, I don't know, Mosaic, different groups. So these all, ultimately, I'll be recommending that you approve of all these and adopt them as part of your board policies. But this time around, it's all about recommend the board accept the first reading of these proposed policies.
So move.
Curtis and Sean. Moved and seconded to accept the first reading of the KASB proposed policy adjustments. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Executive session,
10 minutes.
10 minutes.
Stick by it. 10 minutes.
All
That's all I
right.
need.
Okay,
Out of here in record time.
trying. All right, so let's go into executive session at 8:05 for 10 minutes, just to including Dr. Myers.
So moved.
Okay, Ryan Ruda and Ryan Shriver will moved in second to go in executive session at 8:05 for 10 minutes. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
self-funded. Yeah.
All right.
We had our own.
All right, we're back in session. I need a motion to hire Taylor Goodwin as a full-time 4-year-old para at Wiley Elementary School.
So move.
Second.
Curtis and Ryan Ruda. Been moved and seconded to hire Taylor Goodwin. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? I need a motion to approve the supplementals as presented.
So move.
Second.
Curtis and Ryan Ruda. Been moved and seconded to approve the supplementals as presented. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Need a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second.
Curtis and Ryan Ruda. It's been moved and seconded to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
What was the record time that Jill? Was it 8 o'clock?
32 minutes. Something like that.
Yeah. Gonna
15
text her and
minutes
tell
of
her
it was executive
congratulations,
session.
President.